fat people, overweight people, sick people, they get a bad rap, right? They don't care enough. They're not dedicated enough to take care of themselves. They don't have the willpower to take care of themselves. But wait a second. 70% of our population is overweight. And 60% of our population is on medication. Well, who does that leave out? See, this is a societal issue. This is no one individual's problem, right? It is not a problem of willpower. The problem is we're born into a society with a flat earth mentality. What do I mean? We used to think the earth was flat. Now, that may sound ridiculous now, but wait a second. Walk outside. Look both ways. It looks flat to me. I can understand why they thought the earth was flat. And if we think the earth is flat, then obviously it'd be common sense that there's an edge. So don't venture too close to the edge. You might fall off, right? That would be common sense, even though it sounds ridiculous today. But what happened? When they started to consider more obvious information, their perspective changed. And they could no longer go back to being afraid of falling off the edge. When they considered that they had a spherical moon and sun, and that the earth cast a round shadow on the moon in a lunar eclipse, then they knew the earth was round. It became common sense that the earth was round. So they easily made different, better decisions for themselves. Right? It couldn't go back to be afraid of falling off the edge. That seemed absolutely ridiculous. All right? Well, the same is true for our bodies. There is obvious information that we all know about that we're not considering. And like with the moon and the earth and the lunar eclipse, when you consider this information, you're going to be able to make completely different decisions for your body with ease. Common sense, perfect health is going to become common sense. And here's the cool part about the information. We have all experienced what I'm going to talk to you about, all right? And here's the other cool part. This information is scientifically based, proven, there's studies, there's articles, right? But guess what? You don't have to take any of their words for it at all. You can test what I'm going to tell you for yourself with your body at every single meal. As long as you can consider this information, your life is never going to be the same because you will have to make better decisions. Your old decisions will look ridiculous. All right? So I'm going to go over 3 hormones, the effects they have on your body, and give you a new perspective. All right? So first, Thanksgiving dinner. We show up at Grandma and Grandpa's. There's turkey on the table, mashed potatoes, sweet potatoes, green beans and gravy, cornbread and corn, and there's even start desserts. We got pecan pie, apple pie, lemon meringue pie. The list goes on. We all sit down and we eat, and we eat, and we eat. What happens afterwards? You're tired. Everybody is fighting for a spot on the couch, right? Why are you tired? Now, many of you have heard, well, it's a chemical in the turkey. That chemical they're referring to as tryptophan. Well, it turns out tryptophan is an amino acid, which is a building block of a protein, a piece of protein, right? Well, it turns out it's a common piece of protein, and it's in most proteins. Actually, there's more in egg whites, and there's more in pork. Okay? Well, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, I've had egg whites before. I've had pork before. I didn't end up in a slumber laying on the couch, right? So what gives? Well, it's not tryptophan, all right? It's this hormone called ghrelin, all right? Ghrelin with a G. I like to call ghrelin the gut hormone, and I picture this G right here in my gut. And when my gut is shrunk, ghrelin's being released. I like to call the ghrelin effect the zest for life. It gives me energy, right? Because I need to forage for food because I got an empty gut. But when I stuff that gut, that G starts to expand until it pops, right? And now I don't release any ghrelin. I don't need energy to forage for food because I got a stuffed gut. No wonder ghrelin stops being released. So in turn, I get sleepy, right? You're like, yeah. And now that you mention it like that, I went to the all-you-can-eat buffet. I didn't have turkey there, and afterwards, I feel the same way. And wait a second. You mean when I come home from work and I eat that huge meal and then I sit in the chair and I'm like, oh, I had a long day at work. I'm just so tired. You mean that's because I stuffed my gut? Yes. And here's the cool part. You don't have to stuff your gut. You don't have to abstain from food either. Just don't stuff it. Eat. Stop before you're full. Go back and eat more later if you want, and you keep your energy. Do you see how that understanding could change the rest of your life? Now, next Thanksgiving dinner, you'll probably stuff your gut. And Monday after work, you might stuff your gut. But by Tuesday, you're going to be like, what a chair. Man, I wish I wouldn't have stuffed my gut. And you start making better decisions that change your life. Now you've got more energy to do what you want, to spend time with your family, to get things done. Do you see how that one understanding could completely change your life? And you've all experienced it, right? When you stuff your gut, you're like, yeah, I get sleepy. And if you're not sure, you can go test it for yourself today, right? This understanding can change your life. So, well then turns out there's another hormone. This hormone, by definition, means to be thin. Leptin is a Greek term that means to be thin or satisfied, right? Wait a second. If hormones are as powerful as ghrelin, and I can see how powerful that is and the effect it has on my body and how I can't use willpower to fight that, then how come I haven't discovered leptin on my own? Well, before we get to that, let's talk about it. Leptin is released from your adipose tissue, sends a signal to the brain that says, I have extra energy stores, I am satisfied, all right? Now, this effect is intensified when you eat quality fats, right? See, I used to eat breakfast every single morning, a snack at 10:30, and lunch. Now, I have coconut oil in my coffee and heavy cream in my coffee for breakfast, and I don't eat till lunch, all right? And there again, here's the great part about this. You don't have to take my word for it, all right? You can test it yourself. Take a couple tablespoons of coconut oil. You will have a hard time thinking about food. Another place I've experienced this, I go to my olive oil store and you can taste all the different olive oils, right? I walk out of there, I've drank about this much olive oil, but I am stuffed. I can't even think about eating food after that experience, all right? Test it for yourself. So, if that's true, how come I haven't discovered it? Well, it turns out there is one hormone that blocks leptin. It blocks this signal that says, I'm satisfied. Any guesses? Insulin. Now, for some of you, immediately the light bulbs went on. For some of you not, let me explain. When we eat sugar or refined carbs. We dose our blood with sugar. That's acidic to our body. So we must get that sugar out of our blood and store it in our cells as glycogen or fat, all right? And that is done with insulin, all right? Oh, yeah. So you mean when I sit down to a meal and I start off with bread, and that gets all the sugar going in my blood, right? And then I get my appetizer, and I eat the appetizer, and it's got more bread in it. So now I got lots of sugar going, and I think I'm almost full, but yet my meal comes, and I can still eat my whole meal. I'm getting stuffed, but I'm not satisfied, right? And then I still order dessert, and I get so stuffed I can't move, and I lose my energy. You mean, oh yeah, that is a lot of sugar. The bread, the Coke that I'm having with it, the bread and the appetizer, my mashed potatoes, and then dessert. And that sugar produces insulin, which blocks leptin. Wow, no wonder I've never discovered leptin. Actually, Americans eat 52 teaspoons of sugar a day on average. Leptin don't have a freaking chance. Do you see what's going on here? Wait a second. Is that why they give me bread at the beginning? To get my sugar going so I'll eat more? Wow. If I could get rid of refined carbs, stop eating the sugar, stop blocking my leptin, I'm actually going to have a feeling in my body of being satisfied. Like when I eat the coconut oil or the olive oil, I don't even want to think about food. But as soon as I introduce those carbs and I block that powerful hormone, it's over. We crave more and more and more. And it's in all of our food. Why? Well, there's one study done. They found if they put sugar in the food, animals would eat up to 6 times as much. All right? Well, Grandma makes a great apple pie, all right? But she found out when she put sugar on the crust that it all got eaten. There wasn't one piece left. Is Grandma going to put sugar on the apple pie? Of course she is. So what do you think industry's going to do with the food you eat? Are they going to put sugar in it? Because you could potentially eat 6 times as much. And wait a second, they're an industry, so it's their job to sell more food. They're going to sell you what you'll eat more of. Right? We got to break the addiction to refined carbohydrates. Let your hormones work for you. It will tell your brain that you're satisfied. You won't even want more food. All right? And perfect health is going to start to become common sense. If you want this kind of thinking working for you, click the link below. Learn how to turn this information into habits that will change your life forever, and perfect health will become common sense.